How does French inheritance tax work for property held in France and or Australia? And subsequent question, what is the inheritance tax like if I die? What happens to my house?
Okay. Now, the fact that the property, let's start with that one, nice and simple. So whether you are resident or non-resident to France, the French property will come under the French rules, both for the rules and also for the tax liability on whom you might want to bequeath it. So the key point with regards to rules is the fact that if you have children, any of you, they are deemed to be protected heirs, and ordinarily would all inherit above a surviving spouse. And that might not be what you want to achieve, but there are solutions to that. But ultimately then, if it's that's sold and the property then eventually gets bequeathed on death to whom you want it to go to, the tax liability is payable by the beneficiary. And the tax liability that becomes payable is effectively determined by your relationship to the heir. So what I make it simple, and I'll do it at two extremes. So if it's going to your own children, they can benefit the first 100,000 euros without liability to inheritance tax. Any amounts on that, then it becomes taxable in band rates. In the worst case scenario, if it was being bequeathed to a non-blood relative, and that includes stepchildren, so that's a real key important one there, they can only receive a free of liability for inheritance tax benefit of just short of 1,600 euros. And with amounts in excess, they have to pay 60% on. And the key point, it's they, the beneficiaries, that have to pay the tax. So there is some need to look at that as parts of even potentially, how you look to buy your future pension or your future property. Do you need to protect the spouse? How you structure the ownership of it? That is part of early planning. Looking at your assets for financial, it's all important to look at all these areas and look at the whole picture rather than just looking at individual sections about tax efficiency personally, inheritance planning.